Hello again. And so we are looking at another linear equation interest problem or application, which is simple interest. And so we have memorize A equals P times 1 plus RT. That is because that is the simple interest formula. So let's talk about what all those little things mean. A is your final amount of money you're investing. P is the amount you're starting with. R is your rate in decimals. We'll talk about that here in a second when we start working the problem. And T is the number of time or number of years. Okay, so time in terms of years. Let's read through this problem. Anaya invests $4,000 at 13% simple interest for 1 year. How much is in the account at the end of the year? So we're going to use this formula, and then after we finish working this problem, I'll talk to you about a more practical way of thinking of this. Okay, so we have the formula A equals P times 1 plus RT. Let's identify each of these things in this problem. So our 4,000 is how much we're starting with. That's our principal. That'll be P. Our 13%, this is where we need to convert this to decimal. We have percent right now. And so in your calculator, you can do 13 divided by 100. Okay, so that's going to give us our rate of 0.13. The other way you can do this is to just take this decimal and move it 2 times to the left. So whatever you prefer, I kind of think I like the divide by 100 just personally because you can do it in the calculator. And I think of this as a divide by 100. Okay, and then we have the 1 year. That's going to be our time. So time is 1. So let's plug in all of this and see what we get out. Okay, so we've got 4,000, 1 plus our rate of 0.13 times our time of 1. So we're going to put that in parentheses. And then you can just go straight to the calculator and punch this in. So 4,000 times 1 plus 0.13 times 1 gives you, let's see, 4520. Okay, so what does this even mean? This means that this person invested $4,000 at an interest rate of 13% for 1 year and got out $4,520 after 1 year, which means if they started with $4,000, they made interest, they earned $520 of interest. Okay, so that's actually not terrible. Okay. Now, obviously, if Anaya chooses to spend more time investing and extends this out to maybe 2 years, then this number changes, which obviously means that your total changes. And the longer you invest, the more money you have, which is kind of the whole point of retirement, right? Because this is just 1 year, I want to talk to you more about a more common place that we see these types of things. Okay, so let's say you go to McDonald's and your total is $10. I know it's not ever going to be $10 exactly, but let's say it's $10 and your interest rate is, let's say, 8%. Okay, then you are paying 8% off the $10, right? So how do you calculate that? Usually, in your calculator you do 8% of $10, so that's 80 cents, and then you add it back to the $10, so you get $10.80. That is essentially what this is doing. This is basically taking 13% of 400, you get 520, and add it back to 13% of 4,000, you'll get 520, and then you're adding that 520 back to the 4,000. Okay. So this part right here is saying, hey, P times 1 is the initial amount. That's that 4,000. And then this RT is calculating that percent interest of that. Okay. So you can kind of think of it like taxes. And you can totally stop the video here if you want. But as a real world help, the easiest way to calculate taxes or a percent that has to be added on is to do a 1 in front. So let's say you have $10, you're going to go in the calculator and you're going to type 1.08. So that's 8 cents, and that would give you $10.80. And that's it. Okay, so anytime, instead of just figuring out 8% and then adding it back, if you put the 1 in front, it'll give you the total at the end. Hope that helps.